Hello everyone, I am drberkkkaratas. In the previous video, we explained what types of sexual tenderness and sexual desire people with libido can have. I said there, in the next video, which one are you in? Which stage are you in regarding married people? Married couples or unmarried couples who continue to have sexual intercourse and live together? So, I said I would make a video about where you stand in relation to them. Now I will talk about them. I said I would make a video about where you stand in relation to them. Now I will talk about them. Let me give a brief summary for those who haven't watched the first video. Transparency and desire could come from within oneself. It could have been reactive in a low, medium, high manner. So, it could be logical or materialistic in response to emotional matters. This could also be easily aroused. It could be moderately or difficult to arouse. It could also be non-existent. Of course, those who have no sexual communication or contact are not our focus. Now, there are two major studies conducted, one in 2001 and the other in 2020. In the study, it is stated that they reviewed nearly 2,000 studies and could not find a single study showing that women have a stronger sexual drive than men. Between 1996 and 2000, this is a very important word. So what he wants to say here is that men are more active in a sexual sense in every aspect, and they even said that this topic is not open to discussion. I disagree with this statement. Technically, everything in medicine and science is open to discussion. In a study conducted in 2022, the total number of participants was 621,000. They investigated the gender differences in sexual drive. The number of participants in the studies was 621,000. They have researched the gender differences in sexual drive. Here it is stated that men have a higher sexual drive in terms of libido compared to women. Now, let's make a classification in light of these lights and data. For example, let's have a man and a woman. Let's consider those who are married or in regular relationships. Let the man's desire and libido come naturally. Let the woman's desire also come naturally. Nice, there is no problem here. For pleasure, these are already, since it comes from an internal, spontaneous place, the desire arises. The question here is whether there will be a response from both sides. When both parties are willing sexually, when they put this desire from the theory into practice, will they be able to experience pleasure and find a response? Yes. If they do, the relationship will continue happily and smoothly as long as they don't have any social issues or cultural problems. What's the problem with these? The issue of frequency. Here we can encounter something like this. So for example, one side has a lot, one side has less. One side wants it 3 times a week. One side desires it once a week. There can also be frequency issues there. And the second issue is the frequency of fantasies and fetishism. Because on the side where there are many, they want to derive some fantasies and get a response to them. So such problems can occur. But for example, a nice match occurs when both sides are moderate, when one side is moderate and the other side is less. So this seems like the most ideal thing for marriage. It seems all like a sexual situation. Of course, these can also be problems. If pleasure cannot be reciprocated, meaning one side is willing and the other side is also willing, but it's not being reciprocated. For example, let me give you an example. So, the woman is very willing and the man is also willing, but the man has premature ejaculation. The woman is not able to feel pleasure, or she can't enjoy it, or due to some beliefs or values, certain things might not be done here, etc. I'm talking about sexuality. They may not receive a positional or response. One side's sexual knowledge is very poor. Having sexual experience and being very eager and passionate doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're doing. So, if there's a lack of knowledge here, what happens if one side can't find it? They can accept this and say, okay, our life will continue like this. They may turn to masturbation or to another partner. One of the biggest reasons for infidelity is actually this, technically speaking. I'm talking about infidelity in relation to sexual lust and desire. I'm not talking about it in a social, cultural, or reflective sense. They might go to one of these. That was our first match. Our second match, which is why I mentioned the scientific studies earlier, surveys and scientific studies suggest that men have much stronger libido and sexual drives, while women are thought to have less in comparison. Most matches are like this. You already know this from your own life or from those around you. Actually, we can experience and see that generally men have low, medium, or high lust, while women have a reactive second type of sexual drive. Of course, the most important question is, what is the source for women? What increases their sexual drive? If the source is the partner themselves, that's a great thing. I mean, if they look good, if they like their physical appearance, their movements, and so on, that's a beautiful source. This is a beautiful source. It doesn't change much because this is the source. So if a woman desires and feels attraction towards a man and engages with him solely based on his existence, oh, that's beautiful. It could be related to what they do, which is mostly the case today. I'll explain it shortly. And also what they possess, it's related. Let's not think of what they possess only in terms of money or material wealth. It could be in terms of intelligence, in terms of mind, or it could be in terms of profession. So it could be in terms of status, let's say. Of course, if the issue isn't generally about the partner themselves, even if it is, this relationship can go quite well for 6 months to 2 years. There won't be any problems. Because the woman is receiving stimulation. If she's getting good stimulation, she's responding. The man is already eager and desirous. Everything is fine. But especially in marriages and long-term relationships, partner stimulation starts to decrease over time. At the same time, this person's reactive lust and desire can lead to an excessive sensitivity. So, when the same things keep happening, the stimulation decreases. What happens? What we encounter here? The man says that his wife is sexually unwilling. Generally, the woman becomes unwilling when it comes to sex. Because why? Resources are either disappearing or decreasing. We all experience this. The woman always says something like this. He says, you used to do it this way, you used to do that, you would do this. But when those resources decrease, things start to go backward. So what's happening here? If sexuality is to continue, desire needs to continue as well. The man is starting to come to himself. Yes, he says, I used to do things before, but now I don't. The man can increase stimulation, and the beautiful woman is making an effort to be stimulated. In the past, the woman wasn't doing anything, but now she's starting to do things. She can motivate herself by watching movies, reading books, and so on. If nothing is done, if the man increases stimulation, or if the woman doesn't make an effort, ultimately nothing will happen. Unfortunately, this is the case in a large portion of current marriages. And the situation is being accepted, and it continues like this. They ask, well, teacher, we get together every now and then. Both sides, especially the male side, are turning more towards masturbation. That's a lot. Or another partner, just like I explained in the first video. Stories of infidelity begin. Why? Because here, the man can't always give his lust and desire to the same person, the same person, the same person. It's very difficult. If the woman is only reactive, then problems can arise here. Of course, one of the reasons for having another partner is here for both sides. A woman no longer wants to receive the same stimuli from the same people. She wants to receive the same stimuli from different people. A man also doesn't want to give the same stimuli to the same person, especially if a man's sexual honesty is lacking. If that part is difficult, then we can really say that another partner can come into play. Yes, here is our second form. The third one is the opposite of this. So, the female version of the male. There's not much of a difference. What's the source here again? What your partner does, what they have, etc. This time the man says, my wife, sexually unwilling. The same things are happening here. Either the woman is increasing her stimulation, or the man is making an effort to wake up, or nothing is being done. Mostly this Again, acceptance, masturbation, and things with another partner are the outcomes. Yes, this is one of the most difficult situations. Both the man's and the woman's reactive style towards the leader. So they will definitely do something to each other. They will all influenced by each other. They will be influenced by something. Their sexual desires will increase. This is quite a difficult match. So here, if the source is, of course, the partner, I mean if they are the source for each other, like when they see each other, desiring sex is nice, but their actions complicate things. Without mutual effort, things don't go well. But what they do and what they have makes this job really difficult. As I just mentioned, if the woman and the man don't increase their stimulation towards each other, and if the man doesn't make an effort towards the woman, things don't go very well. Here, one side, for example, the man can increase the stimulation. The woman can also make an effort to get aroused. It could be the opposite. So here, if couples are seriously having issues related to sex, they really need to work on it. So it's necessary to inform them to say, do this, do that. If the relationship is to be continued, the same things are happening here again. Acceptance, masturbation, or other partners. By the way, they can accept all three together, and they can also have other partners. Both can be together. There's no rule that there has to be one. This is also true for the others. Yes, generally we have 4 types like this. Of course, as I mentioned before, these are not precise scientific data. These are always open to discussion and can be developed further. Right now, I felt the need to explain these things. If new things come up in the future, new discussions, new ideas arise, I will share those with you as well. It's very important for you to look at this and know where you stand, where you are. If new things come up in the future, new discussions, new ideas arise, I will share those with you as well. It's very important for you to look at this and know where you stand, where you are. Because especially when I talk to couples who are going to get married, you need to know how your partner's sexual honesty and desire manifest so that you can shape your relationship accordingly. If you don't know this at all, then you might suddenly find yourself in a situation like this or in a situation like that. You need to know how your partner's sexual honesty and desire manifests itself so that you can shape your relationship accordingly. If you don't already know this, then you will suddenly find yourself here, for example, or here. Or you might find yourself doing all 3 at once. There will be a stage where I ask myself, why did I come here? So that this doesn't happen, I thought this video would be quite beneficial for you. Thank you.